Okay, let's take a look at what we're going to be doing today. This is graphing linear equations. In order to do that, we have to get ordered pairs. So the first part of the worksheet that you're going to be working on is going to deal with getting your ordered pairs. So what we have here is a table form. Here's the equation, y equals x plus 2. What you got to do is fill in for x in each one of these. So what I've done is I've basically used -2, 0, 2, and 4. Okay, because those are the numbers that are in the table on number 1. So you take those values and you fill them in for x. So you rewrite this y equals -2 plus 2, and now you solve for what y would be. Okay, so -2 plus 2 is 0, so y would be 0. Okay, I put 0 in now for x here. So y equals 0 plus 2. Okay, so 0 plus 2 is 2. And I put 2 in. 2 plus 2 is 4. And I put 4 in, and 4 plus 2 is 6 for y. Okay, so that's all you have to do on those. Now you would have ordered pair -2, 0, 0, 2, 2, 4, and 4, 6. If you had to graph those, then those would be the ordered pairs that you would graph. Let's take a look at another one. This is number 3 off of this. Now what you can use or select is -1, 0, 1, and 2 for x. And you can set it up in a table just like this. So let's take these values and put them in. Now what I normally do, and we've talked about this before, is start with 0. It's the easiest one to work with. So take 0 and put it in for x. Okay, 9 minus 0 is going to be 9. Okay, so y would be 9. Okay, take 1 and put it in now. 9 minus 1 is going to be 8. Put 2 in. 9 minus 2 is going to be 7. Okay, now you can see a pattern forming here. It's decreasing by 1. So this is probably going to be 10, but check it to make sure. Put -1 in here. 9 minus -1 is positive 10. Okay, if you had the opposite on that, it would be like 9 plus 1, which would be 10. You can use your calculator to double check and make sure that they're correct. Okay, so now you have your ordered pairs. If you went and had to graph these, you could graph them on a coordinate grid. Okay, let's take a look at another one. This one is a little more challenging. This is number 8. Okay. Now what makes this one a little more difficult, it's not in a y equals form. Okay, well we can write it that way, and that's what we want to do. We want to get rid of this 4x from this side, okay, and get it over on the other side, so then this will read y equals. Okay, it's basically, if you think of what we did when we isolated variables and so on, whatever we do to one side of the equation, we got to do the same thing to the other side. And remember, our goal on this problem is we want to get this problem to read y equals something. Okay, so I need to get rid of this basically so it reads that way. So I got to get rid of this 4x, so I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. Okay, now that will cancel this right here out. So I'll have it now the way I need it. Y equals, and now I want to rewrite this horizontally. Okay, so 5 minus 4x. Okay, now we have it in the form that we wanted it. So now we're going to use this form right here, okay, to help us to fill in our table here. Okay, to be a little easier. Not, still tough, but much easier. Okay, so we're going to take 0, start with 0, put it in here. So if I put 0 in for x, 4 times 0 is 0. 5 minus 0 is 5. So I get 5 here. Now I'm going to take 1 and put it in. 4 times 1 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. Now I'm going to take 2 and put it in here. 4 times 2 is 6. 5 minus 6 is -1. Okay? Let's make sure that, oh, that's a mistake there, I'm sorry. Okay, 4 times 2 here, we're putting 2 in. 4 times 2 is actually 8. Okay, and then 5 minus 8 is -3. This should be a -3. Now I caught that mistake because you know you have numbers here that are in the form of a pattern. -1, 0, 1, and 2 are increasing by 1. So with that being said, these numbers should form a pattern also. They're not going to necessarily be the same pattern, you know, increasing by 1 here, but what's happening, these are decreasing by 4. I know from 5 to 1, okay, you're going down 4. So when I was thinking -1 here, I was like, something's wrong, okay, and, you know, I caught my mistake. 4 times 2 is 8, 5 minus 8 is -3. Now we're continuing with that pattern. Okay, now let's put -1 in here. Okay, -1, 4 times -1 is -4. Okay, 5 minus -4, if you add the opposite, okay, that's going to be like 5 plus 4, which would be 9. Okay, and once again, use your calculator to help you with that. All right, so there is our table all filled in. Okay, now, on the other worksheet, you're going to have to be able to graph some of these. Okay, so let's fill in. Okay, so we start here. We're going to put in -1. I'll start with 0. Let's put 0 in. Okay, so 0 times -4 is -4. Let's put 1 in. Okay, I'm sorry, this should be 0. Messing up here. Okay, let's put 1 in. We get -4. Let's put 2 in. We get -8. Once again, we can notice a pattern forming here. Let's put -1 in here. -4 times -1 is +4. So our pattern here is we're decreasing by 4 each time. Now let's go over and graph, just to review on graphing a little. -1, 4. Okay, remember, the first number is like placing a number on a number line. So -1 is here. Okay, now 4, we got to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's where that point's going to be. The next point, 0, 0. Okay, that's the origin. Here's 0, 0, right here. Okay, 1, -4. So over 1 and down 4. Okay, is going to put it down in this area here. And 2, -8. Well, we got a problem with this one. 2 is right here. -8 is going to put us off of the screen. So I'm not going to graph that point. I have 3 of them. I can connect my dots here. Okay, let's put arrows on the end of these, because remember, these go on forever in both directions. Any point on this line is a solution for this equation right here. Okay, and then I'd like you to write the equation on the line. So y equals -4x. And write that somewhere where you can read it, where you have some room to write it. Don't write it in here where you have you know, a bunch of lines going and so on. Okay, so there would be your answer for that problem. Okay, another thing you're going to have to be able to do is to find the x and y intercept. Okay, so first of all, let's fill in this table quickly. I put 0 in, I get 0. I put 1 in, I get 4. I put 2 in, I get 8. Okay, I put -1 in, I get -4. Okay, now the x and y intercepts are the coordinates where the point crosses the x-axis and the point where it crosses the y-axis. Now back to this here, remember, this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis. Okay, now, and on this one right here, they're both 0, 0 because it crosses at the origin. And that's going to be the case right here. Anytime that, you know, you have 0, 0 as coordinates, that's going to be your x-intercept and y-intercept. But here's how you find it. You put in 0. When you're finding the x-intercept, okay, y has to be 0. So if you put 0 in here, what does x have to be to make this true? Well, it has to be 0 as well. So the x-intercept is 0, 0. Okay, and you do the same thing to find the y-intercept. You go and you put 0 in for x. So I put 0 in for x. What does y come out to be then? In this case, it's 0. So these both are 0, 0. Okay, let's try one that's going to be a little different now. Okay, this one here is going to come out a little different. Let's fill in the table first. So start with 0, you get 3. Put 1 in, you get 4. Put 2 in, you get 5. Okay, put -1 in, and you get 2. All right, now let's find the x and y intercepts. X first, so that means we put 0 in for y. If I put 0 in for y, what does x have to be in order to make this thing true? Okay, well, it would have to be -3. -3 plus 3 is 0. Okay, so my x-intercept is going to be -3, 0. Okay, now let's find the y-intercept. So now we put 0 in for x. Okay, and let's solve it. 0 plus 3, we already solved that right here, okay, is 3. Okay, so our y-intercept is going to be 0, 3. Okay, those are the points where, when you graph it, this is where it crosses the x-intercept, okay, at -3, 0. This is the point where it crosses the y-intercept at 0, -3. Okay, so that's how you find those. Hopefully that's helpful in doing this.